Now we're going to proceed to the function on planning. So Mr. Kenneth, what do you think makes a good plan?
Well, I think first the idea is very important. The idea, I think, is the most important thing. The business idea, what I mean is that do you have an idea that differentiates yourself, that that is profitable and can be executed as planned, or is it feasible, in other words. So I think these three things is the most important. Yes, idea, whether it's feasible, very important, because this is not the first time I opened a business, and I have failed several times, and I think I shared with my past students in the past that I've opened a tutorial center, and I've opened just a magazine. I tried a magazine, but I've also every year, because when I was the teacher, I always have together with the students, we opened a small company, and it's interesting because from each experience of failure, you will get something, you will learn something,
yes.
And it will help you to proceed to the right idea eventually. But I think most important thing, you also need to try. You need to try. You need to give yourself confidence to try your ideas. Yes.
So I believe, as you mentioned, what makes a good plan is really the idea and also the feasibility of the business model itself.
Yes.
And in this industry, real estate, is pretty dynamic, according to our conversation earlier. So how far do you actually plan into the future? And
yes.
Another question is that, does it actually make sense to plan for more than 5 years in advance in this type of industry?
Well, to be honest, I think it's a no to plan more than 5 years because, as you know, it is very dynamic. The industry, it changes very often, and I can tell you, to be honest, the way when I start working the business 9 months ago, and the way that I see now is already very different. Because when I first start the company 9 months ago, I don't have a lot of competitors, maybe just 1 or 2. Now, when people see that I'm successful, there are a lot of similar websites or replicates. So, but I still think that you need to, although there are more and more competitors, you need to find a way that continue to distinguish yourself, and also yes, I think that's very important, to continue to distinguish yourself. At the same time, you need to stay competitive. Yes.
Perhaps could you share with us what is the traditional approach to this industry now, and how have you differentiated yourself as a result of your plans for the business?
So the traditional for the traditional real estate, as you know, Macau has many real estates. So what they do is normally they have a property received from a landlord that they want to sell or they want to rent out the apartment, and then the agents will post to outside the shop, or they will promote on the newspaper, so that people will see the advertisements and make the contact and maybe to complete a deal. But what I see is that it is a very slow process, because it takes several steps to reach the customer, to reach the right customer. So our approach is different. Our approach is, first, we want to generate a mass of people who are interested to buy or rent a property, and then we posted the property on the Facebook page. But as you know, Facebook is profit organization.
Yes.
So of course, in the process we have
There's
to
some
pay
cost.
advertisement costs, but at the same time, Facebook is very powerful because it can distinguish who are our potential customers, and then we can advertise directly to our potential customers, which is much more effective than a traditional real estate. Yes.
And also, in order for us to understand, because you said that plans change along the way, and earlier it was mentioned that in just 9 months you are already seeing more competitors today. So how do you plan to mitigate this in time to come? Because I believe there will be a shift
Yes.
towards your proposition, and how are you going to differentiate yourself again? Or
Yes.
moving on from here.
Yes. I think the most important thing is I need some more people to help, because people is the most important thing. Without people, you cannot do anything. So I need some motivated workers, and I also need them to trust my vision and to execute the plan, to continue to improve my business. Yes, I need them to see what I want them to do, how I would continue to distinguish, and I think it's very doable, because to be honest, most of the real estate agents in Macau has 6,000 real estate agents, but a big portion of the real estate agents are in their 40s or 50s. So this group of agents, they have a lot of network, but they are not good at promotion. They are not good at technology.
Yes.
So I think we can continue to distinguish, partly to cooperate with them, and partly they will help us to continue to improve the business, because real estate is like this. If you have good apartments, you don't need to worry that you don't have customers.
Right.
If the apartment is in good condition, the price is reasonable, there will always be customers, especially in the leasing market, because to buy a house is so expensive now.
Yes.
So more people are looking to rent an apartment.
Right.
So as long as the price is reasonable, the apartment is good, you always have business. Yes.
So how, as you mentioned, your plan actually changes pretty often. So as a founder, is it true that more than just the strategic planning, you also have to be operational at times? Do you actually go down to meet clients?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do every day.
You do everything.
I do everything, because I also need to, in order to have business, you need to meet with clients.
Exactly.
Yes, and I'm also an agent, so just like my peers, my colleagues, I will teach them how to close the deal faster, how to find properties, and of course I will be the agent as well, besides leading the company. Yes.
Right. So when it comes to planning, let's say you have only 100% of your time. How much time do you allocate towards strategic planning, and how many people actually are involved in this planning process? And what do you do?
I think strategic planning occupies maybe 20%. 20% of my time, but most of my time is with meetings with clients, with my colleagues, because now we rarely hold a meeting here. Most of the time our meeting is through the WeChat, WhatsApp, and it's a much more effective and faster way, and yes, a way to communicate with each other.
perhaps just for us to better understand the planning process, just wondering, in your typical meeting when you plan strategies, what will you, discuss about?
Oh, okay. So what we normally discuss is first we discuss about our clients, because there might be some clients my colleague couldn't find an apartment, but I know from my mind I can give him the direct contact. So our meeting is more about clients first,
Yes.
and then second is about the properties. So like I said, where do we find the good apartments, or who has the contact of the good apartments? So, and also how I think me as a founder and as the owner, I'm more focused on how to let more people know about my business, yes, and how to reach more people, yes.
Apparently, now that you mentioned about reaching out to people, I remember that you showed us on Facebook that you have about 12,000 plus likes
Yes.
so far on Facebook page.
Yes.
So I think it's pretty impressive, especially
Yes.
given that your business has only run for less than a year.
Yes.
And so, in fact, perhaps you can also give us some tips on for students, how. So